Tottenham till I die, Spurs die hard. Tottenham till I die. Tottenham till I die. Tottenham till I die. Spurs die hard. Tottenham till I die.
Hello and welcome to this Wednesday edition, post-match Monaco away in the Champions League. We're going to get into the game. Thank you all for coming. I see we've got over 20 of you viewing us, 23 of you viewing us now. I don't know how many are in the chat. Please get your comments in the chat. I've got some regular friends of the show with us. Ian's trying to come on as we speak as well, fellow admin Ian. But I'll start with introducing our guest. Kev, mate, how are you?
Yeah, evening, Adrian and everyone. I'm fine, thank you very much. I'm still fine, even after watching the game.
Okay. And Callum, a regular friend of the show. And how are you?
2 hours of my life I'm never getting back. But I'm like Kev, I'm going with the flow and just keeping going.
Right. I don't know where Ian is at the moment, so we can't welcome him. I'm sure he's on his way. He's
jumping about a bit.
Yeah, I'm just trying to. He's jumping about a bit. Exactly that. Right. Post-match Monaco away. Start with you, Kev. I mean, this was the team selection. There was a lot of hoop in some of the WhatsApp groups about who was going to play at centre-back here. Some thought Gray was playing there or Polino or whatever. What was your take when you see the lineup?
Well, once I deciphered the stupid numerical order bit and worked out who was actually playing, my first thought was that VDV would be left back and Gray would be in the centre with Danzo. And the rest would be as they normally would be. But obviously, it wasn't quite like that when they started, and Gray had a reasonable game at left back, I thought. Although the fact that he didn't have a left foot told on 2 or 3 occasions, but in the end, the back four, I think the back four suffered from the people in front of them not quite performing, maybe. But yeah, when I saw the team, everyone was. I think most people were saying, "Oh, Polino might go in the back four and Gray go in the middle," and so there was lots of permutations there could have been, but there we go.
Callum, your take on the lineup when you see it? Did you guess the positions the players would be playing in, like Paulinho or Gray?
No, I was one of them that was kind of going probably left back Van der Ven, Gray sort of a 6 or an 8, and Paulinho centre back. But I was thoroughly content with it. I guess it was one of our better options of lineups, and we asked for changes in the middle, didn't we? And we finally got that.
Welcome in, fellow admin and co-owner of the channel. How are you?
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Ian's had technical difficulties for those of you that just joined us. You've got 40 of us viewing us, which is excellent. So soon after the game, right? Ian, what was your take on the lineup when you see it?
I couldn't make it out. I mean, I wasn't. I kept looking at it and going, "Who's playing where? Is Gray going to play at centre half? I mean, are they going to? People talking about a 3, and I'm going, well, is that Porrell on the right side of a 3? Look, you can say what you want. I don't mind Polino and Bentancur playing in a game like that. Although Bentancur, I have to say, is way off the pace at the moment. Polinia, I said at a previous show, you don't realise how good he is until you realise how good he is. He just seems to do so much under the radar. And then you start looking, that's Polinia again made that block or that interception or that tackle. Look, I'm not quite sure what Frank's thinking was, particularly if he wanted a left wing back. He then left Spence on the bench. But I thought Archie Gray was outstanding today, absolutely and utterly outstanding. So for people that have dissed him and said we blew £40 million, I think we've got an absolute star in the making. Bergvall was disappointingly quiet, and I think that's the point. If you're going to get someone who's got a bit of creativity, he didn't function either in the same way that Simmons didn't function on Saturday, and maybe that is the problem. That you can be reasonably solid defensively with Bentancur and Polinia. But if you're only going to play you're playing a 5-man midfield or whatever, you should have had the numbers, and we didn't seem to have the numbers, But let's look at the positives. Everyone was knocking Vicario at the weekend, not good enough, need another goalkeeper. I mean, that was an 11 out of 10 performance without some of his heroics, particularly that save low to his left late in the first half was an absolutely outstanding save, and the one in the second from the header.
We'll talk about that. Let's go through because we have got injuries. Okay. I'll stay with you though because I'll give my take on the team first. I mean, I'm at the stage now with Frank. If I can think of more than 2 permutation, I'll just wait and see how they line up because you could look at fullback, centre back here and midfield here and you're thinking, you don't really know. You try to be logical, but sometimes that doesn't count. But I'll stay with you, Ian. The subs.
I thought I have to tell you, I thought his substitutions were absolutely 1,000,000% spot on. When I hosted the show on Sunday, I said it looked like deck chairs on the Titanic, that he was throwing players on and off, but didn't seem to have any rhyme or reason to it. I thought all of his changes made perfect sense. That when he was bringing on the midfield Simmons and Sarr, I'm like, right, who's he going to get off? In fact, my partner said to me, I think he'll bring, I think your little blonde boy will go off. I said, yeah. And I said, in fact, yeah. And I actually looked at her and said, you know what? Simmons and Sarr for Bentancur and Bergvall makes total sense. Although it did take, as often happens, Xavi Simmons a few minutes to get into the game. I thought bringing Richarlison off and bringing Muani on, and that was an impressive performance by Muani. Again, I thought bringing the more defensively minded Spence onto the game and bringing Gray into midfield to play his 15th position in 25 minutes. And he did really well again in midfield. I just think he's so versatile. And the other, Che brought Kudos off and he brought Johnson on. There's one I'm missing, I think. But I thought he got all of it. Odeberg. Johnson came on for Odeberg, didn't he? Who was injured. And that looks like it might be a nasty injury as well. So, yeah, look, I'm not complaining about the subs, although you look at the impact their subs had, and their subs nearly won the game for them as well. But so I was critical of him on Sunday. So praise where praise is due. I thought tactically and in terms of timing, he got the subs right. At least he didn't wait for us to go goals down before he started to make changes.
Callum, he used the 5 experienced subs, really, didn't he?
Yeah.
He used Johnson more.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't really have a choice, did he, to be honest, apart from throwing on Spence. So realistically, we don't really stand we didn't have much else to offer. And I mean, based on how we're going away from this game, it's 1 point, but we've added number 11 to that injury list of 10 now, which doesn't help us. So now we're having to drop into some of the guys who played, i.e. games earlier, like Byfield and Williams-Barnett in the under-19s as well.
Yeah,
Alon Adesi. So we're not helpful
there was only 11 subs, Callum, and in a Champions League and Europa League, you're allowed 12. So it just shows the injuries. But we haven't got a lot of serious injuries. We've got a few niggly ones that players have got to get over now, haven't we?
Yeah, realistically, and like you say, we had 2 bloody goalkeepers on the bench tonight. I mean, that seems to be our running favourite of European games for the last 6 months, ain't it? We can't fit the quotas, so we're going to run with 12 goalkeepers on the benches. I don't even think we've got that many in the goal in the age groups. And what he had to go with.
Kev, your take on the subs, and I'll go through the chat.
Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, the 5 you brought on were really the only 5 you could bring on, as we said before, apart from maybe Scarlett, who didn't get a run, but and the 2 goalkeepers. But yeah, I mean, it's not a strong-looking bench at the moment with all the injuries, but that's just one of the things. I mean, people saying, "Oh, the next 7 games will test the depth of Spurs squad." Well, we're already trying to test the depth of our squad now with all these bloody injuries. I mean, the centrals we let go, or the centre half we let go, especially. He might come home to roost, but yeah, there wasn't a lot else he could do, really, was there? And as both Ian and Callum said, the subs who came on, apart from maybe Sarr, who didn't really get into the game, did what they needed to do well. Johnson's chance was behind him when the ball came across to him, so he was always going to scuff it, wasn't he, a little bit? But yeah, no, in terms of who wasn't particularly playing well being subbed off, yes, he got the right people off first, because they were, Bentancur was pretty anonymous, and unfortunately for Bergvall, despite all his running and the runs that he made up front, what people will remember about that game for him was the times he gave it away, and he gave it away 2 or 3 times in very dangerous positions.
Yeah. Let's just go on, Ian. I'll do this.
I mean, look, it wasn't good, and it wasn't good in in Bodo, but we've got 2 away draws. We won our home game. Our next home game is against Copenhagen, which is a game we really ought to win. I mean, I know our home form has been wretched, but it's a game we really ought to win. We're down to 15th, I see, but there's 6 clubs, I think it is, that have got 9 points from their 3 games. So it's going to be competitive to get into that top
24.
I wasn't thinking the top 24. I was thinking the top. What gets you in the top 12, isn't it?
Top 8.
Top 8. Is that all it was? I'll have to get the table back up again. But,
top 8, and then 9 to 16 get seeded against 17 to 24, seeded. Don't they?
I mean, the top 8. I mean, we're only a point off Newcastle. There's City there, Dortmund. And then there's 5 teams actually with 9 points: Paris Saint-Germain, Bayern, Inter, Arsenal, and Real. So look, it's going to be very competitive to get into that top 8. Even Barcelona are down in 9th, Liverpool in 10th, Chelsea in 11th. So there's a lot of good teams there. But I mean, I think if we can get into that, we should be able to get into that top 24 comfortably, and preferably in the in the top echelons of that. And get a decent draw for a playoff and get into the latter stages. But look, we've played 3 Champions League games with a squad we don't think is good enough to play, or certainly to compete in the Champions League at the top end. We've got 2 away draws and a home win. None of the performances have been anywhere near good enough. But people don't remember that. People remember the points on the board, and we've managed to get 5. Without playing well in a single game.
Yeah, the point situation is very good. I wouldn't worry about the other teams, because the 2 away, to get any point away from home in Europe, I don't care who you play, it's a good result. Callum?
Yeah,
Really
no,
broke.
yeah, most definitely. I'd take a point after this game, to be honest. So realistically, points on the table helps us out astronomically. Yeah, we were crap. We've been crap all the way through, but points are points at the end of the day, and I'd rather take one than losing all three.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, I don't know. We picked up a yellow card, Kev, and I actually thought when that player rolled over the top of Kudus, was it?
No, it's Simmons.
Simmons, yeah, he rolled over the top of Simmons. I actually thought that was, I mean, like they gave a free kick.
Well,
for
I
that.
thought Moani's, Richarlison's yellow card, I thought was unlucky because the defender was ducking down into his foot, and Richarlison didn't know he was there. He was looking at the ball, and okay, free kick, but I think yellow card for that was a bit harsh.
That was the only yellow card of the game as well.
That was the only one. I don't think Simmons didn't get one when the guy went over the
Simmons
top of
should
him.
have got a yellow card. That was a really nasty thing
Well,
he did.
it was another thing. He ducked out of the way of the guy, didn't he? And unfortunately, the guy rolls over the top of him, and that was dangerous. So yeah, perhaps he could have been a bit bad, but yeah, he was. In terms of that, I think with Richarlison, I don't know how many it's 3 yellow cards before you get suspended, isn't it, in Europe?
I'll bring this up here, and I'll bring this up as you're an ex-ref.
Yeah, I was going to say Richarlison's got 2, hasn't he? So
and he used to hand them out like confetti, apparently. So no, but I mean, yeah, Richarlison's got 2 now, and so has VDV. So if they pick up 1 each next time,
that's the VDV one's the one you're worrying about, isn't it?
Yeah. You would. Depends who Frank rests, because we're gonna have. I mean, if it comes to European games, he's gonna have to start playing Dragerson, and we're gonna have to look at Takai as well, the Japanese centre back. So we've got other centre backs. Davis has got a knock. He got that in Wales, didn't he, when he got his 100th cap? And so I don't think that's serious. It's just a knock. So, we seem to be holding it together. I mean,
if you take, I mean, we're saying we've got 5 points, and that's good. I think from 2 away games. If you draw your away games, you're doing well, aren't you? But we've played 2 of the same teams that Man City have, and we've got the same substantive results as them: a draw and a win against the same teams.
Yeah.
So it's you've got to look at this, and Liverpool actually stuffed Frankfurt tonight, didn't they? I think, and we've got to play them. So there's some strange games going to be coming up, I think.
It wasn't a difficult draw that we got by any standard. Wasn't a difficult draw.
Just on it for those the 8 of you which is viewing us, which is fantastic. And I haven't gone through the chat yet, but just on the rules, I always do generic banners because I know I'm going to use them later. Players are suspended after 3 cautions that did not result in a red card, as well as after any subsequent odd-numbered caution. So if you get 3, you get a suspension without a red. Then if you get 5, 7, or 9, you've got to do something to get 9, though, really. And because there is only I think there's 15 games to win it unless you're in the playoffs. And if you won it in the playoffs, it'd be 17 games, then I think. Right. Mm-hmm. So that's the rule situation. Yeah. So. Yeah, I mean, the performance in general, Callum. We've seen a few like this. This is a concern now, isn't it? We can't seem to hold the ball at all. I mean, and they pressed us like mad. Their press was good. They created chances, didn't they? Ricario made 4 or 5 excellent saves. So I think he's got the doubters off his back for 1 week.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Vicario's rated as one of the top goalkeepers in the Premier League and Champions League at the moment. And it's not because he's been good, it's because of how many bloody shots we've allowed him to face, which doesn't help. And he's done so well from it. But there seems to be a disjoint where our forwards lose it. We've got such a big gap between our midfield that we then invite pressure. So, yeah, I don't think there was that many standout performances tonight, was there? Realistically, Vicario, Gray, Odebear to a certain extent, and then some of the subs. So we
Kudos.
did play. Yeah, Kudus for a little. I would say Kudus up to about 55 minutes, and then he sort of drifted and got bored. I think he was thinking, "Why should I fucking bother carrying this team?"
They
to be
doubled
honest.
up on him, Cal. They doubled up on him second half much more, and he didn't really get into the second half.
I wasn't any better. I wasn't any better, and I drifted and got bored as well watching that.
I think I spent more time smoking tonight than I did actually watching the game.
Funny thing was, the last sort of 20 minutes, I mean, like, was exciting because you're thinking, are we going to get away with a draw? So that was exciting. And then we started to show a bit of nous with about 15 minutes to go. We actually got
right at the end. Right at the end was the only time we really started putting any pressure on.
But then that's the thing, because remember, still at the end of it, if Minamino could finish his dinner, then he could have had about 6 goals within 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It's just, it turns out he is that crap as he was at Liverpool and all that. That's why Blinken left him. But it wasn't a good performance, and I don't think we could sugarcoat it. There's a couple of standout performances individually, but as a team, we're hard to beat, but we make it look very painful to score as well, to be honest. That's my sort of takeaways. And we look disjointed. We look like a team missing vital key players to us. I mean, don't get me wrong, Danso was all right tonight. He was better than he was against Villa. He had a few chances, but I didn't feel inspired about tonight, apart from the fact that, yes, we got a point.
I didn't bother getting the stats down every time, but Ian, we made some excellent blocks and some good last-ditch tackles and clearances.
I mean, absolutely. And sometimes you just have to look at the quality of the defensive play. But that is, they had, 20-something shots on our goal, 8 or 9 or 10 on target, and the goalkeepers had to make several outstanding saves. So, on another day, you get beat 3-4-5 in a game like that. So, look, you take a point. You got to look at the positives, because otherwise, I hate sitting looking at negatives all the time. But there is a lot of work to do. I need to understand exactly what Thomas Frank is trying to do, how he's trying to set us up, how he thinks he's going to score more goals than the opposition to win football matches. At the moment, I don't know that he knows how he's going to do that. Yeah, granted, we've got injuries. Granted, we've not got as strong a team as we would like in certain areas. But by the same token, some of our football in possession is somewhat pedestrian and sometimes a little bit predictable. I wouldn't even mind sometimes if we just chuck the ball in for the centre forward to have a go at now and again, rather than the horseshoe football.
Kev, I mean, he picked a team to do a job to win the game. You want to win a game if you can, but we just kept feeling. We did what you should do when you're facing a high press. I mean, the idea is you press them to make them kick long. You recycle the ball because you've got more members at the back, more players at the back than they have, and you go again. And they were relentless, Monaco, weren't they? I mean, and we just kept kicking it long.
Yeah, I think there was. We didn't do any short goal kicks. I don't think. We might have done 1 or 2, but in the main, it was Van der Ven was plonking the ball down from the goal kicks, or Vicario was doing long kicks. But the trouble is, when you've got Richarlison as your target man, he's like a brick wall, and the ball just bounces off him. I think he controlled 1 that came to him like that. So whereas we would criticise if they were doing short passes and getting caught out. We can criticise when they're doing long passes and they're not going to any of our players. Our retention of the ball when it was pumped up the field was terrible. Our second ball attempts off of when the first ball was coming out, it was non-existent, and Monaco were tidying up everything that was going long, especially in the first half and the start of the second half. It got a bit better towards the last 10-15 minutes. All of a sudden we discovered something, from somewhere. But Monaco, they were good on the break. They did what I always like to do. They left 2 men up when we had corners, and we didn't leave 1 man up when they had a corner, which is always a frustrating thing to me. Our throws were getting worse again. We take too. If you look at when they had throw-ins, especially in the attacking half, the person nearest the ball picked the ball up and threw it in, rather than waiting for a fullback or a Danso to go up, take a long throw. That's fair enough. But rather than waiting for Porro or Gray to come up and take the throw in as a fullback, the closest person to the ball took the throw. The pressure was straight back on us before we'd had a chance to reset. And things like that. It's little things like that if they keep the pressure on, they reset quickly, and we just don't seem to want to do that.
No.
And that's a frustrating thing for me. Throw-ons, as you know, Adrian, I've always moaned about throw-ons, and I thought they were getting better,
Yeah.
but they seem not to be.
Pauline has been a revelation, isn't he?
I'm so glad I was proved wrong. I mean, me and Ian, we wanted Walton all summer and all that, and Paulinia has been one of the positives of our window and season, and he has pretty much made that centre mid spot his own, if you get what I mean. And he's near undroppable at the moment. I mean, excuse my language, but fuck me if he gets injured. What the hell is going to happen if you get them?
Yeah. I think that's why before Frank goes from when he's not in.
Now,
sorry.
I think that he just adds stability.
Yeah. And if he's not in the team, I think Frank goes for a more industrious midfield. Ian, Xavi Simons, we all know what a talent he is. He hasn't earned the right to play in the 10 role yet, as far as I'm concerned, though.
No.
I mean, give an example.
But sometimes players, they were talking about this on commentary, and was it John Champion who was doing the commentary? Was saying about seeing him playing for PSV and him absolutely destroying teams. I think sometimes we all. I'm sort of sighing with a little bit of exasperation. We all expect people to come in and turn it on from the first minute. You move into a different country, different first language, different teammates, different style of football. Give the boy some time. He's manifestly got some talent. Once or twice might have got a shot off today, but he can hold the ball. I still think he's got an abundance of talent. Nothing's changed for me. In fact, someone made a comment on one of the chat groups we're in, Cal, saying about it looked like a panic buy, and he was a player we were discussing this in the summer on Diehards, that he was very much one of the top targets that the club's had all summer. So I think he'll come good. Whether he would be better with. You leave out Bentancur. I know Sarr wasn't at his best when he came on, but if you played Bergvall and say Bergvall and Simmons, or Sarr and Simmons, or Gray and Simmons, you'd have a little bit more legs in the middle. I'm not actually sure part of the problem isn't only playing 3 in midfield. I'm not entirely sure that's working for us and working for Thomas Frank, but he's got to work that out himself. If he wants to play 3, go 3-5-2. And I said this on Sunday's show, and give yourself more of a foothold in midfield, because that seems to be where we have the problem. We're not getting that foothold that we need to. But as I say, the professionals have got to work that out. I think there's more to come from Simmons, a lot more to come.
It's interesting what you say that, because about tactics and setups. Because when I look at Liverpool, I've got a fantastic squad. Wirtz hasn't hit the ground running. Isaac hasn't. And when we talk about positions and players, if you look at it with Isaac, he's come from a counter-attacking Newcastle team to a front foot Liverpool team. When you're a counter-attacking, you probably get the space to get past people and get goals. I didn't watch all his goals. We know he's a very good finisher and all that. And like I feel that with someone like Simmons, when you come into the Premier League, I mean, I remember when Modric come to Spurs. When you don't trust the player and they're skillful and they've got it, you push them out on the left, right?
Yeah.
And I think until Simmons gets used to the pace, he should be on the left. I mean, if it means that Odebert comes on late and replaces him, or Frank, if he starts performing consistently on the left, even today he was cutting him from the left, wasn't he? And that's when he looked a bit more of a threat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm. So, I mean, Kev, what's your take on Simmons?
I don't think I haven't really seen enough of him at the moment, but yeah, he was cutting in from the left more this time. I mean, I suspect I wasn't the only one shouting "shoot" at various occasions, especially in that last 5 minutes when we were pissing about around the edge of the area, either cross or shoot. Didn't get the ball in the box, and he was a bit guilty of that, and not putting the ball in the danger area in the last 3 minutes. And you've got to, it's 0-0, 3 minutes. If we score, that's it, isn't it? So yeah, that was a bit frustrating that he's not quite taking the game by the scruff of the neck. But as Ian said, he's still sort of trying to assimilate himself a bit, and a few heavy touches every now and again. But in general, yeah, you can tell he's a skillful player, and he's looking and what he's trying to do. But there was a few, it just that I think it wasn't just him, but everyone. The final ball into the box from everyone tonight, apart from maybe 2 crosses, was absolutely appalling. Porro especially had one decent pass, and Odebert miscontrolled it. Apart from that, his crossing was not good. There might have been one other he actually put in there, and Kudos seemed to be overhitting the ball as well. I don't know whether Monaco have got a narrow pitch, but it seemed to be overhitting crosses quite a lot there. But yeah, Simmons, I think he needs the time really to bed in.
The problem is we've got too many players.
Too many players like that, yeah, maybe, yeah.
Callum, I mean, when we did start to look good in the last 15 minutes, the final third decision making, with Spence was linking up with Simmons, but they just kept overcooking it instead of getting the ball in the box, didn't they?
Yeah, it was painful watching, wasn't it? They all want to play in the same bloody area. They all want to go into the same space. I mean, there was times where Simmons was running into blind alleys, Spence was playing just all over the place, and it was just like that from start to finish, I think. So it didn't even make any real difference in the end. It was just it just summed up how the game was, to be honest. And yeah, we had a few chances, but nothing really inspired me to say, yeah, we could actually win this, to be honest, because Monaco still had their own chances in that period, didn't they? So realistically, we sit here and we think, yeah, we might have gotten something. I mean, I think we were lucky to get that point, to be honest, because throughout that whole game, our midfield to our front line didn't work. And I know we probably glossed over it a little bit, but Richarlison tonight has got to take credit for the worst player on the pitch for about 60 minutes, to be honest. In all honesty, I don't like to have a go at players, but every time the ball came to him, it just rolled off of him. I know Bergvall lost it, but Richarlison couldn't hold up. He couldn't hold up a bank with a handgun. Let's put it that way. He couldn't knock over a post office tonight, to be honest. He was really not the answer to our up front issues. And even just when Mawani came on, we just looked a little bit different, but that different had an impact, at least compared to him. But the whole thing, we asked for a more dynamic change to midfield and the team from the weekend. I know Ian was going on about it as well, to get more midfield options in there. We changed it up. Frank took the risk. It didn't work. We didn't lose from that risk, I guess. But realistically, the whole night was pretty turgid, wasn't it? And yeah, it's like Norm said,
Yeah.
painful watch. And how the hell did we get a draw? And we just invited too much pressure on ourselves. When the forwards would lose it, the midfielders wouldn't pick up and press to try and retain it or get it back. And it just invited pressure on our. I don't think we were that worse in the second half, to be honest. I think that the damage was already done by about the 60th minute, to be honest. Bakari had already faced about 25 shots by then anyway. But realistically, we need something to click. And it's not clicking between the defence to the midfield to the wingers to the front line, to be honest. We are missing that anchor point. And I thought Sarr might have had that impact tonight, being that linchpin from midfield to attack. Realistically, pretty synonymous, and didn't have much of the impact that I would have liked, to be honest. He wasn't much better than Bentancur, to be honest. So realistically, we know that there is a lot of work to be done, and hopefully Frank will work on that before Everton, because I mean, to get a point away from home at Monaco, I'll take it. But in the Premier League, we need to start sorting these games out. And I know David Clark's literally going to crucify everyone on this tonight as well. He always does. He always does.
I had celebrity traitors on in the background as well.
Ian, you haven't wanted to seen little of him, apart from probably a video if I posted before he came on loan to us. But Moani, when I look at a striker unlike Richarlison, who I want out of the club, like all the fan base do, I think he's got something about him. He's just got a presence. He looks like a striker. He moves like a striker. I mean, you know,
strong, powerful, good ball control, better pace, better know-how, aware of what's going on around him. I like him. I like him. Part of the problem is Solanke's not fit. If we had an option of Solanke and Moani, I think we'd be in a much, much, much better position. Richarlison is manifestly not the answer. And if he is, he's got to play left side up front. It is a problem, but I did like what Moani did. I'd love to see him get on the end of something and get a goal for us. Yeah, I was really impressed with what he did. A little cameo, but he was well in the game and giving them problems.
It's good to see he presses as well, Kev.
Yeah, he does. I mean, some of them saying earlier about the midfield was being overpowered, and Hoddle said it in the commentary I was listening to, and Hoddle kept saying Spurs being outnumbered in midfield, and one of the reasons for that was because when pressing in that first half, you noticed, and I've mentioned this before when Bergvall's playing, Bergvall is the highest player up the pitch doing the press. He's higher than Richarlison most of the times, so that when the ball does get through our press, all of a sudden we're very light in midfield because we've got four players sort of up front pressing, and one of them being Bergvall. But Moani looked much, he looked 10 times better than Richarlison, controlling the ball when it first comes to him and things like that, and and taking players on and not just falling over to get the foul. He got a couple of fouls, but that's because he was being held back and everything else. And he looked good. There was perhaps a couple of times when both him and Simmons could have pressed on much more than they did, and they stopped and held the ball up. Rather than sort of going for the throat. But yeah, I'm with Ian on this one. I want to see him sort of in there and doing it.
Callum, we're going to need Marmy and we're going to need Solanke fit soon. A season could easily fall away, couldn't it? If we don't get these up to speed. We get them up to speed, I think we're looking good.
Yeah, I mean, anything to stop Richarlison getting into the number 9 slot will do myself and I'm sure Kev a favour on a weekly basis, let's put it that way, because realistically you've got a player that can play straight as a number 9, and then you've got Moani who can play as a number 9 and a left winger. And I think that will then unlock other players in this style as well. Realistically, having a proper focal point who can score goals will give Odebear, Tell, Simmons, Johnson to a lesser extent, Bergvall, give people options to pass to and know that they're actually going to stand up and hold the ball up and not fall over it like Richarlison does, in all honesty. So, yeah, when they come back fit, I mean, Mawani looks like he's getting there, so maybe he's close to a start. Solanke is obviously a little bit behind him, but when we have these hands down 100 times more options for us realistically, because at the moment we are devoid of options. We can barely score a goal a game at the moment, can we? So having them will hopefully give us something special. And then when you have Kulusevski and Maddison to come back as well behind that, there's your creative force to back up your striking options.
Yeah, and that's a good point that Callum makes, isn't it? Because like we've all critiqued the front four, right, or the front three even, but if the midfield doesn't perform, they're not going to see the ball anyway, are they?
Well, it doesn't help, does it? And as I say, in terms of formation, tactics, personnel, this is what Frank gets paid the big bucks for, and he's got to sort this out, and he's got to sort a way of not being fragile at the back, which is, I think, one of the things he's gone in there to do, and he's done it reasonably well, but without losing the creativity that we have. I mean, he left Sarr out. Sarr started the season really, really well, and suddenly not playing. And someone said he was pants, but it's sometimes difficult to come on in a game like that and pick up the pace quickly. Sometimes you do it, sometimes you don't. But yeah, look, we were not expecting this season to be a season where we went and won everything. We maybe hope to get top six and sniff a cup out from somewhere. That still remains a possibility. There's money needs to be spent, and the head coach needs to sort out what he's trying to achieve with the club. We are not Brentford. I said this on Sunday, Adrian. We're not Brentford. It's a different style of play that's required, and it's a different set of expectations from the fans.
Kev, Vicario's coming for a lot of criticism. He made 2 cracking saves in the Europa League final. Probably kept us in the game, although he made the error when they nearly scored and VDV cleared off the line with his shin. But he is an enigma, isn't he?
Well, he certainly is. I didn't see the Villa game, so I can't sort of comment on how good, bad, or indifferent he was in that game. But he's been guilty of palming the ball straight to opposition players or onto our players, and they score. Tonight, he perhaps got, he made up for that bit of bad luck by all the saves he did, and everything went away. Even that one that came off of his chest in the second half went away. It went to one of our players, and we got it away. And we all know he's a great shot stopper. And that's been his strength, really, is stopping the shots. And tonight he proved it. There were some terrific saves in there. Reminded me of my performance on the Luton Town plastic pitch a number of years ago when I kept a clean sheet. But that's another story completely. But yeah, he is an enigma, and you still worry about his distribution sometimes. And there was that one time when he took one too many touches in the penalty area and just passed it to no one, and that almost cost us as well. When if he'd just thumped it first time, it would have been up and out of play. So there's still that odd, nervous moment with him. But in general, as a shot stopper, he's great. I mean, I said earlier in WhatsApp right at the beginning of the season, I thought Kinski might play up to 4 games in the Champions League. Well, I thought tonight might be one of them after all the criticism Vicario came in for, but it's probably lucky it wasn't, because he was definitely the he was our man of the match easily, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was easily man of the match, wasn't he, Callum?
Yeah, no, hands down. I mean, just on what Kev was saying about Kinski, apparently he's regressed a little bit in the club's eyes. He's sort of not where they expected him to be, so that's why he's not really making appearances in the background at the moment. So there's some question marks over his sort of viability at this stage. So having Vic produce something like tonight, I know he has his wobbles. I know he has his topsy-turvy moments and his mind mess ups, but if it weren't for him tonight, we could have lost that easily. It could have been the Frankfurt score 5-1, 6-1, 6-0, 12-0. You never know. So thank God Vicario actually did have a good game. But we always know his distribution profile of Lloris, haven't we? Realistically, good shot stopper, but can't distribute to save his life. So we have to just live with it and get on with it, realistically. And thank God tonight he actually did the business for us.
Yeah, and I mean, shot stopper. I mean, that's a prerequisite of every goalkeeper to be a good shot stopper. I mean, surely, Vicario's got something that he's got that ingredient. He's got that agility that you need as a goalkeeper, isn't he? He's more than a shot stopper. I think he's more than a shot stopper. He's got weaknesses, but he's more than a shot stopper.
I agree, and I think he's an exceptional shot stopper. I mean, there was calls in after the game on Sunday to replace him with Kinski tonight. Well, I just think it shows how daft that was. He is more than a shot stopper, but he needs to improve his goalkeeping. All goalkeepers should be good shot stoppers. Most goalkeepers are good shot stoppers, some better than others. But there are shot stoppers and goalkeepers. Pat Jennings was a goalkeeper, an amazing shot stopper. But the way he caught the ball, his distribution, everything about him was class. Peter Shilton was managed his penalty area, managed players. Ray Clements, people remember them, the way they marshalled their defence. Vicario does a lot of shouting, but again, the game's different. Goalkeepers could pick up, players were in a bit of bother. They passed it back to the goalkeeper. He picked it up. They kicked it out. The ball went. If there was a problem, your player would knock the ball back to the goalkeeper from the halfway line, and he'd pick it up. You know.
It is different. One of the things was, he wasn't being put under pressure, Vicario, from corners, and I only saw him come for one and catch it. When the ball was coming in onto inside the 6-yard box in the middle of the goal, and to my view, he should have been dominating that ball when it came in like that, and he wasn't. He was standing back on his line like a rabbit caught in the headlights sometimes. So and he might not have had to make that headed save at the end if he'd come out and got the ball in the first place.
Yeah.
But of course, we know when he did come out and get the ball, as we said in the final, he completely missed it and headed it. So,
what part of my angst with Vicario? I mean, there isn't a better goalkeeper out there available at the moment, anyway. And we have priorities in the forward line before we start thinking about any replacements in the goalkeeping area. If we do, we don't know if Fabianotte or get a better tune out of Vicario, what training he's doing with the goalkeeping coaches. Don't know. But sometimes Vic, he will distribute the ball and put the player in a tight position, right, when he's under pressure. And other times, all right, you don't want him throwing the ball out when we're not set, if we're just breaking from a corner and all that. But as Ian alluded to, when you had the likes of Pat Jennings, he had such great vision. All right, the game was slower then, but he had such great vision that once Pat had got the ball, he already knew what he was going to do with it. He was going to drop kick it, or he was going to throw it out. Usually, he didn't do these rolling. He didn't do these rolling passes. Rare. It was either a drop kick or a throw, and he could throw it to the halfway line anyway. So Cyril Knowles or Ray Evans. So
what doesn't help Vic either is that our lot always like to play around the back line, don't they? They like to pass the ball across the bloody goal. I mean, that's one thing that I was taught as a right back. You never pass the ball across the goal. And yet And yet we love it. We love it. We play from right back to left centre back. We then go to right centre back. Then we go to the left back, and then it goes across field, then back to goal. We invite pressure, and we know that Vicario is a flappy keeper. He is eccentric. He is all over the place. He can't command his area all the time, and we don't help him as a team. And I don't know whether that's our style, whether that's just the modern Premier League style, but we don't help him. And that doesn't help because he is an eccentric keeper who is all over the place. So we need to do something to help him, because if not, we invite him to make mistakes. Whereas if he is just as a shot stopper, then we can deal with it. But if we invite pressure on him, then we make our own problems, don't we? Simple as that.
Back in the day, it was a no-no. You never pass square balls across the box. I mean, if in doubt,
I never passed to Ian as left when he was left back and I was right back. I don't think we even talked to each other on the pitch.
I mean, you know, if you're going to lose the ball, lose it down the line. So do the line ball. If you haven't got someone to throw the ball to, then you have to throw in down the line, because you got the chances are that the opposing defender midfielder will nod it in a touch anyway, and you'll move up the field like an American football team, right? Yep. So then you go line ball if you ain't got no options. On throws, Kev, because me and you, we've been about throws. About throws. I mean, why don't we mark up apart from the throws are crap, but I mean, like, why aren't we marking up on throws? Because like you've got the extra outfield player, and we talk about playing a press. And yet we let them. They took their throws quickly and kept the game going, didn't they? Right. So I mean, I could coach throwing drills. I could work throwing drills in our own up third, in the middle third of the pitch, and the final third. I could coach. I mean, you could coach throwing drills. I mean, I've had people laugh at me for when I've suggested it, but you can.
Yeah, of course you can. I mean, and the obvious one is throwing it down when you're in the opponent's half. Is throwing it down the line to the corner player. You can't be offside. God's sake, throw the ball towards their goal rather than towards our goal, and give them all time to reset their defence and everything else. You know, there's something. There was a recent one. There was that goal we scored in the Champions League in Marino when the ball boy threw it to the player and quick throw down it because they couldn't set. You know, and they've got the multi-ball system now. You should be able to pick up the ball quick throw, but we seem to slow it down all the time. Goes back to Romero, stands on the ball for 10 seconds before he thinks about doing a pass, you know, and everything's reset in front of us, and we've lost any sort of surprise, any keeping them on a back foot, you know, and people seem to do it to us. You know, the throws are taken quickly, or they're more constructive with the throws, and we don't seem to. Occasionally, the defence tends to win the ball if it's thrown towards the edge of the penalty area or something like that. But you know, when it's going in, Danso, you know, the only time I like it being slowed up is when Danso is going to pelt that ball in. Every time Kudos gets the ball, well, we know it's going to go short because he hasn't got a long throw, but other people don't seem to work that one out yet. You know, he pretends he's got a long throw, but he hasn't. So then we must be able to do so much more from throw-ins, or even just taking them quicker. A little bit announce about you to pick the ball up, even if you don't usually take throw-ons. Everyone should be able to take a throw-on. It's the most common set dead ball situation in the whole game is a throw-on. Everyone should be able to take a throw-on.
Yeah, and I mean, you'll remember, probably Kev will as well. I mean, in the early 80s, Jim Cannon and the Palace team were called the team of the 80s and all that, but it turned out that we were the team of the 80s. Venables comes with his Palace team to Spurs, and they start taking throws and throwing them behind our back line because you can't be offside for a throw. Caused us all sorts of problems. I think we scraped the win. But, I mean, I remember seeing that happen a few times. I just don't... Certain things exasperate about football. It's got so robotic. I mean, if you look now, suddenly long throws are becoming fashionable. They should never have gone out of fashion. It's a weapon.
Well, when you think about it, I mean, corners never went out of fashion, did they?
No.
No, I think you're right. It's certainly a weapon. Interesting comment that, you know, he maybe floats the ball a little bit too much, Dan, so rather than throwing it in with pace. Those of us, the three of us, old enough to remember Ian Hutchison for Chelsea.
And Chivers.
That's
Chiv.
three of us,
Yep.
Cal. You know, with those, they went in. They went in like a corner kick. In fact, Chelsea won an FA Cup with one of those in 1970. So, no, I think you're right. Sometimes the games got overcomplicated.
Callum, what's your take on what you've seen of Odebert?
I think there's a player there. I think it's the same with Tell. I think they are both good young players, but they need time. And the problem is we don't have time at the moment. That's the thing. We are crying out for something different now. And they are having to carry the brunt of us not being able to secure a left winger in the summer and losing our number 9, both of them throughout different periods. So they're having to play catch up. And unfortunately, they will suffer from that. Oh, for fuck's sake. Jesus Christ, David. One day we will survive without David Clark slaughtering us completely. But until that point,
Adrian, I don't think you're reading the private chat. Cal's got to go.
Is he? All right, okay. All right,
but
Cal. If you've got
realistically, on my last point, Tell and Odebert, very good players, need time. Odebert, probably one of our better performers tonight, but needs to work on end product for definite.
All right, then, if you've got to go, Cal, thanks for coming on, and we'll see you probably on the next show. You'll probably be here on Sunday or whatever. So you're usually regular on Sunday. So, yeah. Pleasure as always, guys. Take it easy. See you later.
Cheers, Cal.
Bye.
Right. There wasn't a great deal to talk about the games, guys, so we won't. 91 of you going anyway. Like, all I'm going to do is bring up the next list of games, and then we're finished there. Before I do,
Adrian, I want to plug my. We haven't got a link for it. My chat with Brian.
Well, we can do that then. I mean, like, Ian did an excellent interview with Brian Dago on Levy's tenure at Spurs. You'll find it on our YouTube page. Ian can't find it because he's probably not got our page set up the right way, but it's there. And we've had like nearly 100 of you go and view it anyway, and he only did it yesterday. So, and we've had quite a few comments on it. So it's a good listen, guys. Go and listen to the interview. I mean, both guys done us proud there actually on that. While I'm going to plug our channel. Our shows go out either on Tuesday or Wednesday because of the European football at 9 or 10 o'clock. At Friday, Drew Zilla hosts usually, but he's got issues at the moment at 10 o'clock. So if he can't do this Friday, I'll do it. And Ian hosts on a Sunday, either now at 9 o'clock, I think mostly. So if you like the content, please subscribe to the channel, that little red button down in the bottom right-hand corner. We can't see it, but you can because you're live. I want to thank the 93 of you who are watching us on various platforms. I think it's fantastic this late at night anyway. I want to thank all of you in the comments, including you, David Clark. Thank you for yours as well, right? And for your questions.
No relation, spelled differently.
Spelled differently, okay. He's distancing himself from you. Kev Clark's distancing himself from you, David. I'm just going to bring up the banner of the fixtures that we got coming up because there wasn't a great deal to talk about this game. I'm surprised we managed to get you going for an hour, to be honest. If I can find my list of fixtures.
iPhone 17 Pro has arrived.
Right, okay. Right, Ian. Oh, yeah. The Villa and Monaco can come off. I'll add more, but to the end of November. I mean, this is how it goes now. We go to Everton away, Hill Dickinson Stadium. We have a fantastic record against Everton. You guys that are watching us on various platforms. I mean, the three teams that we've got the best record with in the Premier League are Everton, I think, Man City and West Ham. So we've got Everton at Hill Dickinson. So which won't be easy. Under Moyes is back there, isn't he?
None of them are going to be. None of these games are going to be easy. But that's the Premier League, isn't it?
Yeah, and then we've got to this is like, it's not like it's a given against Newcastle away that we get spanked because it is the Carabao Cup. So I don't think many fans expect us to get anything at Newcastle, but in one-off cup games, anything can happen. You just got to go for it because it's not like a league game when points are at stake.
No.
And then on Wednesday, we got Chelsea at home. They're just sort of hitting form at the right time. And then we get Copenhagen. We should beat Copenhagen, right? After getting these 5 points, we don't want to go backwards. So, and then Tuesday, November, Man United. I think you got Brian on after that show, Ian, haven't you? Brian Daigle back again after that show.
You're reading the dates and the play and the teams out the wrong way, Brian. You're Adrian.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So Chelsea's Saturday, the 1st November. Sorry, Copenhagen's Tuesday. So we'll do a show after that. We'll do a ECL show after that. Champions League show. Man United Saturday, 8th of November, and then we got Arsenal away. Tough. I mean, they're always tough fixtures, but it's starting to look. The way we're playing, it makes them look even tougher, Ian, doesn't it?
I think that's right. I worry a little bit. I worried a bit about tonight, and then you can think, oh, we could lose to Monaco, and we very nearly did. Everton away won't be easy. And then you got Newcastle away in the League Cup, and they're in good form at the moment. And then you go, hang on a minute, we could easily lose 4 games on the bounce here. But fortunately, we haven't lost tonight. So, maybe we'll get something at Everton. We do have a good record against them. But they're another team that's hard to beat. I mean, if you're asking me to put a prediction in now, I'll probably say 0-0. Another 0-0, which you might take, but he'll want to. I think he'll want to. He might want to rest players as well in advance of Newcastle. I think he'll want to put a strong team out against Newcastle, and we're hampered, of course, by some injuries. It looked like Odebear might have got another. Might be out for a little.
Doesn't it? Like he's done.
I thought it was a groin at first, but
groin.
I think that's what Romero's got, so he could be looking at 3 or 4 weeks. Romero, Adogi, the injuries are mounting up, and everybody was blaming Ange for it last year. Well, can't blame Ange on these ones.
Well, Kev, just on Everton, because we don't know. I mean, we win a couple of games. Then you could go into Newcastle on high and get something there, or go to penalties or whatever. But just on Everton, I mean, I think it's safe we'll see Tell back because at the front, because he's not in a Champions League squad, and unless and we can, and I definitely think we'll see Marnie on the bench again as well, don't you? And we don't know what's happening with Solanke.
Yeah, I think Spence will be back when he, assuming that Udogie is still injured. So Gray will probably be back on the bench unless he puts him into midfield, because he wasn't. He looked good again when he was in midfield this evening. He when he wins the ball, he drives forward with it, which is not everyone does. But yeah, I think Tell will probably play. Richarlison will probably be on the bench. He might even start Marnie. You never know, especially if Odebear is out injured. In that case, but yeah, I think it'd be an interesting game against Everton.
Yeah. If Odebert's injured, I mean, I could well see Marnie starting. I can well see Simmons playing on the left end. But we're getting to that Friday. Everton for you, I think Tell's going to start this game though, because I don't think Marnie and Solanke aren't 90 minutes ready yet. I could see Marnie getting half against Everton, second half probably.
At least, yeah.
So we haven't got much more, guys. I hate to leave the 90 of you watching us, because it's been we try to make our shows interesting. We're very proud on being fact based on Spurs Diets. But like I said, if you do like our channel and our content, we class ourselves as a mature and sensible fact-based group. Please hit that subscribe button in the bottom right corner. And if you really like us, there are memberships at $1.99 a month. If you want a membership, take out a membership. And with that, Kev, thanks for coming on. Any last words?
Right. No, I don't think so. I think we'd have all taken a draw at the start of the game. And definitely, as the game went on, we were all happy to get the draw out of it. So all in all, it's the result that counts tonight. We can worry about the performance later.
Ian, any last words?
I can't add anything to that. My daughter messaged me before the game. I said I'd take a draw. Absolutely delighted with the draw. And as Kev says, we'll worry about the performance later. That's the link, by the way, to my chat with Brian. We've had some really positive feedback on it. A lot of people seem to really like it. The chat. Brian's always interesting, and there was a lot of good chat. So please try and have a look at that, guys, and like and subscribe to the channel. Other than that, I'm ready for my bed, Adrian.
Right. I just want to thank Callum for coming on, regular friend of the show. Frank Kev, regular friend of the show. Thank my co-host and co-owner of the channel, Ian. And I want to thank everyone in the chat channel. Like I said, thank you for your questions. Thank you, David Clark from Leicester. And all of you on various platforms. Yeah, big up to all of you. Big up to everyone which is on playback. And I'm going to play you out with this bit of soul music.
We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die hearts, heart and soul. We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die hearts, heart and soul. We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die hearts, heart and soul. Blue. We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die hearts, heart and soul.